You've been studying a lot, but somehow you still forget most of it the next day. You reread the same pages, try to focus harder, and spend hours attempting to memorize, yet almost nothing sticks. It feels like you're doing everything correctly, but your brain just doesn't respond the way you expect. And that's what makes it so frustrating. But here's the truth most people never realize. This isn't happening because you're not intelligent or not disciplined enough. It's happening because the way you're studying goes against how your brain is naturally designed to learn. And this is where things get interesting. In Japan, students memorize thousands of kanji characters, not by studying longer, but by studying differently. Instead of relying on passive review, they use methods that force the brain to stay active, making memory deeper and more stable. Each session only takes about 10 to 20 seconds, yet it can outperform hours of traditional studying. The best part is, you don't need to do everything perfectly. Even applying a small part of this method can already create a noticeable change. And as you continue, you'll start to see a few ideas behind it that completely reshape how you think about memory. In many places, people still depend on methods that overwhelm the brain. Long study sessions, constant pressure to concentrate, and the belief that more effort always leads to better results. But in reality, the opposite happens. The longer you push your brain, the more tired it becomes, and the less it remembers. Japanese learners approach this differently. Instead of asking how to study more, they ask how the brain decides what to remember. Once you understand that, everything changes. Your brain isn't built to store large amounts of information all at once. It works based on signals and relevance. When you try to cram too much, your brain treats it as temporary and quickly removes it to save energy. That's not a weakness. It's how your brain protects itself. But memory isn't fixed. It's something you can shape. Think about it like this. You look at a piece of information for about 15 seconds in the morning. Then you see it again later in the day. Then again in the evening. You're not trying to memorize it. You're simply exposing your brain to it multiple times. The next day, you realize you remember it without effort. That's because your brain doesn't prioritize how long you study. It prioritizes how often something appears. This is the core idea behind many Japanese learning methods. Memory is not built through intensity. It's built through frequency and rhythm. But frequency alone is not enough. Your brain is constantly filtering what to keep and what to ignore. It looks for signals. When something repeats in a pattern, your brain begins to think it might be important. Here's the part most people overlook. If you combine information with a small, consistent action, you create a trigger. That trigger becomes a signal that tells your brain to switch into a focused state. This works because your brain naturally connects physical actions with mental states, just like habits become automatic over time. This is what makes the method so effective. It's not about working harder. It's about working with your brain instead of against it. The method itself is very simple. The first element is short repetition. Instead of long sessions, you review information for about 10 to 20 seconds at a time. Just quick exposures repeated several times throughout the day. The goal is not to force memorization. The goal is to send repeated signals. The second element is a memory trigger. Before each short review, you perform a small action. It could be tapping your notebook, taking a slow breath, or lightly tapping your fingers. The action itself is not important. What matters is doing it consistently. Over time, your brain starts linking that action with focus and memory. It becomes a switch. When you combine these two elements, something changes. You stop forcing your brain to remember, and your brain starts doing it on its own. Each repetition strengthens the information without making you feel tired. Here's how you can apply it. Choose one small piece of information. Keep it simple. Pick a trigger you can use anywhere. Look at the information for 10 to 20 seconds. Then stop and continue your day. Repeat this several times. That's it. No long sessions, no pressure, just repetition. And to make it even more effective, add one final step. Before you go to sleep, spend 10 to 20 seconds reviewing the most important thing you learned that day. Your brain processes and stores information during sleep, and what you focus on last becomes a priority. This is something Japanese students use regularly. For exams, for language learning, for formulas. It works because it aligns with how the brain naturally stores information. When you combine short repetitions during the day with a quick review at night, your memory improves faster than you expect. After a few days, you'll notice something different. You're not trying as hard to remember. The information just appears when you need it. And that's when you realize something important. The problem was never that you needed to study more. You just needed a better system. So try this today. Pick one small thing, keep it simple, and see if your brain recalls it tomorrow without effort. Because once you experience it yourself, you'll understand that learning doesn't have to be difficult. It just has to be done the right way.